What happens when you're the best player at your position, win numerous awards, and receive MVP votes year after year? You'd probably assume your team would be doing everything possible to win, right? Well, for Jose Ramirez, that hasn't been the case. In fact, recent reports suggest that JRam has been manipulated by the Guardians, who made promises they were never planning to keep. But what exactly did they promise? And why are fans taking out entire newspaper ads to stand up for their star player? After 3 seasons spent between the majors and AAA, Ramirez broke out in 2016 with 60 extra base hits, and over 300 average and 800 OPS. But it was his versatility which fueled his game. Throughout the year, he spent time at every spot in the lineup and played elite defense at 4 positions. With his emergence, he guided Cleveland to their first division title in a decade, then passed the Red Sox in the divisional round and Blue Jays in the championship series, putting them just 4 wins away from the franchise's first title in almost 70 years. And JRam was doing his very best to make that happen.
The 0-1, and hits one a ton into left. Back at the wall, it is gone. When he asked Terry Francona about Jose Ramirez, he says he's just made himself a great hitter.
He recorded 9 hits during the series, but ultimately it wasn't enough, as the Cubs clinched victory in 7 games.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series! And the Cubs have finally won it all!
Cleveland may have fallen in agonizing fashion, but one thing was clear. They had a superstar in Jose Ramirez, and he carried that momentum into the 2017 campaign. He increased his extra base hit tally by 31, which included a jump from 11 homers to 29. He was everything an opponent feared. He could hit for power.
The pitch. Swung and blasted! Deep left field! Away back! Goal! Jose Ramirez continues his pursuit for the American League MVP.
Swipe bases.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down. Not nearly in time. Jose Ramirez has himself a stolen base.
And play elite defense.
Chopped one by the mound. What a play by Jose Ramirez. And there are 2 gone.
Through his efforts, he helped Cleveland win the 2nd most games in franchise history at 102, which included an American League record 22 in a row. But when push came to shove, they bottomed out of the playoffs in the divisional round. Entering the postseason, Cleveland were considered favorites, but the randomness of playoff baseball proved unavoidable as they came nowhere close to their goal. And while their playoff failures became a familiar story over the next few years, one thing never changed: the exceptional play of JRam. This video is sponsored by Huel. Are you always on the go, find it difficult to consistently hit your macro goals, or struggle to plan meals ahead of time? For me, I have a pretty packed schedule with creating videos, training for soccer, and going to the gym. But through everything, Huel has been able to accompany my busy lifestyle. Their Black Edition powder is loaded with 27 vitamins and minerals, and 40 grams of protein per serving. All it takes is just a few minutes and you're ready to go. Huel also offers ready-to-drink bottles in 5 tasty flavors, each containing 35 grams of protein, balanced carbs, healthy fats, and is perfect when you're on the move. Just twist a lid and shake. No prep, no blender. A delicious meal in seconds. And the best part, right now Huel is offering a high-protein starter bundle, which includes a 10-serving meal pouch, 5 ready-to-drink Black Edition bottles, and a shaker. And for new customers, use code GREENLIGHT20 for 20% off your order of $75 or more. But better act fast because this bundle is only available through January and it's expected to sell out pretty quick. Alright, thank you Huel for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the action. Between 2018 to 2021, he finished top 10 in home runs, stolen bases, runs scored, and driven in. No matter what it was, a fastball, breaking ball, or off-speed pitch, he could torture opposing pitching staffs no matter their game plan against him. So with his contract winding down, many fans geared up for his eventual departure, knowing the number he could receive elsewhere would far exceed Cleveland's. But surprisingly, the 2 sides found common ground.
We've got some breaking news here in CBS Sports HQ, where the Cleveland Guardians and All-Star Jose Ramirez have agreed to a 5-year, $124 million extension. His current deal is now guaranteed $150 million, which is the biggest contract in franchise history.
In an era where maximizing every dollar has become the standard, he was the rare exception, stating he'd rather take $150 million in Cleveland than $200 elsewhere, reaffirming his love for the city and fans. On top of this, the organization vowed to use his hometown discount to build a successful team around him. It was the perfect outcome for fans, who have been starved of World Series glory since the 40s. But instead, there have been lies. Key players departing, and most disappointingly, more playoff losses.
The Guardians are down to their final strike. Schneemann rolls it down to first. Torkelson will play it himself. And the Detroit Tigers are on to the American League Division Series.
In the 4 years after signing his extension, the Guardians have won their division 3 times. And while it hasn't led to postseason success, it's not something to squawk over either. So how come there has been so much outrage by fans over their commitment to their star player? Well, the first and most glaringly obvious reason can be attributed to their payroll, or lack thereof. Because despite promising to put his saved money to good use, the Guardians have ranked 22nd, 21st, and 25th in the 3 years following. A stark contrast to the late 90s, when they finished in the top 6 almost every year and routinely handed out big contracts. Instead, the Guardians have scavenged for bargains in free agency. Since the extension, the biggest names they've added include Josh Bell, who was inked to a 2-year, $33 million deal, only to be traded halfway through his first season after struggling at the plate, and catcher Mike Zunino, who posted a .177 average before retiring mid-season. Beyond these misses, the team has relied heavily on minor league contracts, hoping to develop overlooked players into productive major leaguers. While this strategy has yielded some results, the minimal financial commitment to free agents is staggering. And just as concerning has been their inability to solidify their roster at the trade deadline. In 2022, despite sitting just 1 game back in the division, they failed to add any meaningful reinforcements. 2 years later, their headline acquisition was Lane Thomas, a then formidable corner outfielder with the Nationals, who struggled after the move. Veteran starter Alex Cobb was also brought in, but started only 3 games before he was sidelined with an injury. And finally, this past season, they were sellers, trading away franchise cornerstone Shane Bieber. It wasn't until an unlikely winning streak, coupled with a historic September collapse by the Tigers, that Cleveland was crowned champions. Who can be mad at that? But lately, fans have still been growing tired.
The Guardians have screwed this guy. They've screwed him. They have failed to put enough talent around him, and I think that has hurt his career.
Fans have had it with ownership's little investment, with one taking it to a whole other extreme by purchasing an ad in the newspaper reading, "Cleveland is witnessing history. Jose Ramirez will be remembered as the city's greatest of all time. Paul Dolan is wasting his career. No vision, no investment. Jose deserves better. The fans deserve better. Cleveland deserves better. Either commit to winning or sell the team. Paul. 76 years is long enough." The message was clear. Guardians ownership has been losing the relationship between their fans with how they've been treating their franchise legend. But how does JRam feel?
Sí, no, en verdad no se han manejado a como me hablaron. Especialmente el gerente. No se han manejado como él me habló. A mí el dinero no me importa en esta vaina aquí. Dinero yo tengo, dinero voy a seguir ganando, porque yo soy un buen jugador. Pero yo lo que quiero es ganar. Entonces ayúdame a ganar.
Somehow, this interview went largely unnoticed, even though he revealed that the front office had lied to him, promising that they would use his hometown discount to surround him with the pieces needed to win a World Series. In this interview, he would go on to mention that the Guardians are great at assessing and developing talent, but when it comes to competing with the Dodgers or Yankees, it requires significant financial investment in proven veteran talent. He's right. How can a team currently sporting a payroll around $100 million, supposed to battle the likes of the Dodgers, Blue Jays, Yankees, and Mets, who all seem to figure over 300? It's a tall task. In fact, the last team to win the World Series with a payroll in the bottom third were the Florida Marlins back in 2003. The truth is, it just doesn't happen too often. And yet the Guardians are currently entering the 2026 season with the 28th ranked payroll, despite having a clear need for offense. Jim Bowden of The Athletic said it best when he commented, "The Guardians seem to be taking Ambien this offseason, as they've done practically nothing outside of adding pitching depth with their signings of Sean Armstrong, Colin Holderman, and Connor Brogdon. For a team desperately in need of middle-of-the-order offense, it is disappointing that they haven't done anything to address that area." And with no talk of a big move coming, it's very likely that the Guardians will enter the 2026 season with a decreased payroll. A punch to the gut to JRam, a player who has been willing to do anything for the organization. In 2017, he moved to second base after Kipnis got hurt. When Francisco Lindor left to get paid, he stayed behind and took a hometown discount, leaving an estimated $200 million on the table. He's watched countless teammates come and go, era after era. Yet through it all, he's been the one constant in Cleveland baseball. A player destined to finish his career among the greatest to ever wear the jersey. But if the organization continues to place the weight of the world on his shoulders, they may be headed for a split. But I think everyone knows which side the fans will take. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you think about JRam's situation in the comments. Oh, and if you'd like to keep watching, YouTube recommends this one.